Watch this video if you are new to retro games or if you're a seasoned veteran. It has occurred to me that these games just may be brand new to some of you out there tuning in. Because of that, I've put together a list or starter kit of classic games that are perfect for newcomers to retro gaming. I have some stipulations for this starter kit list. The game has to have easy pick up and play mechanics, so nothing complicated. The game isn't one that you have to invest lots of time in, like RPGs. No insanely difficult shmups. Simply games that are fun, regardless of your skill and ability level. Finally, no mascots. These are games that may be overlooked and not as popular, but in some instances, just as good. And if you're new to the genre, you'll be able to experience the leaps and bounds in technology as we did as kids back in the day. Enjoy this trek through time, and now we are ready to embark on another retro-powered rewind. First up on our list is Yar's Revenge, released in 1982 for the Atari. The first console we had was a ColecoVision with an Atari adapter. The very first game I picked out in my life was Yar's Revenge. It was probably because of the cool sci-fi box art that caught my attention. At the time, this was my favorite game ever because of how cool it was. The controls and gameplay is easy to learn. You only have one button and the directions that you gotta move in. Sure, Yar's Revenge is limited. I mean, there is no music to it, and variety in stages. It's just the same stage over and over with different barriers. But this is what we had back then, and it was still impressive to say the least. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back was also released in 1982 for the Atari. Of course, at the time, Star Wars mania was at an all-time high, and anything labeled Star Wars was a magnet for us kids. This game was so cool because you play as Luke Skywalker, controlling the snowspeeder, and you battle AT-AT walkers on the planet Hoth in order to defend the power generator at Echo Base, just like in the movie. This game probably inspired classics like Fantasy Zone. The controls are simple, just like Yar's Revenge. The variety of the stages are limited. There's no music while playing, but there is music as soon as you start it up. There are many Atari and ColecoVision games that were great at the time and created lasting impressions on me. It served its purpose as the foundation of gaming for me. And the next leap in technology to the NES was indescribable. Five years after the release of Yar's Revenge and Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, we have games that simply look amazing, and one that has always stood out to me to this day as much as any game does is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Which was released in 1987. In my opinion, this has to be on every NES Essentials games list. For me, this game is easily in my top 7 to 10 games ever. Here's an instant where the console game is better than the arcade. Besides the graphics that are simply amazing, this game has great music and is fun for decades. Take on the role as Little Mac and fight your way to the champ, Kid Dynamite, Mike Tyson. Each boxer you face has a unique set of moves, and the challenge of learning the boxer's patterns creates timeless replayability. The controls are simple, and the pick up and play element is second to none. This game has all the elements that make an all-time classic, with the best graphics, sound, controls, challenge, replayability, fun factor, and has a lore about it that has us continuing to talk about it almost 40 years later. This is a timeless classic and great for anyone new to retro gaming. Gauntlet was released in the arcades in 1985 and created by Atari. The first time I seen Gauntlet was in 1986 at an arcade, and there was this huge 4-player cabinet. It was amazing being 7 years old and attempting to play it. In 1988, when Gauntlet was released on the NES, I was pumped. I had so much fun with this game. The controls and gameplay are straightforward and easy to pick up. Here you can choose from 4 players, a warrior, a wizard, a Valkyrie, and an elf. You travel through the Gauntlet in order to obtain the countless treasures that await. You are essentially racing against time in each dungeon. Your health meter depletes each second, so your options are to fight through and collect food to restore health, or simply get through it as fast as possible. I'm not going to lie, I've never even come close to beating this game, and that is the beauty of it. Sure, the graphics are basic and outdated, but at the time, it was amazing. The OST is a standout and holds up to this day with the finest chiptunes available. This is a must-play for beginners and veterans alike. Blazing Lasers is a standout title on the TurboGrafx 16 and holds up to this day. It is not as crazy and demanding as most shooters during this era, but this is also its appeal. Blazing Lasers has easy pick-up and play mechanics. Easy to learn, yet challenging to master. This is an instant classic the moment you play it, and if you're a fan of the shoot 'em up genre, this is it, and one of the greatest ever. The challenge is not crazy, but it is not easy either. It has great visuals, sound, fun factor, and replayability that is still fun almost 40 years later. This game boasts impressive voiceover for your power-ups and is quite impressive for a game that came out in 1989. Blazing Lasers is a must-play for those new to this timeless era. The Bomberman series has been around since 1983 and has been converted to just about every video game platform back in the day. My personal favorite is the PC Engine version of Bomberman 94. This game made the list because it is pure fun and one of the best co-op games ever, right up there with Mario Kart. The controls and gameplay are simple, the graphics and sound are great, but the main draw here is its multiplayer capabilities. The 2-player mode is fun, but the best is when you plug in the turbo tap and you can battle up to 4 of your friends to have a 5-player free-for-all. Bomberman 94 is a classic title that has stood the test of time and is perfect for anyone new to this franchise. Road Rash was released in 1991 and is an action-packed, violent, underground, illegal, motorcycle street racing game with plenty of violence to go around. I am not a fan of racing games, but Road Rash is in a class by itself, and this is one racing series I am a fan of. The graphics and sound may look not too great nowadays, but when it arrived on the scene in '91, it was unlike any other games that were out. Needless to say, this was a hit when it was released, and the franchise had continued success throughout the Sega Genesis run. Road Rash is fast-paced and hectic, yet cathartic when you get to punch, kick, or club your enemy off their bike, and it still hasn't lost its charm. NBA Hang Time, released in 1996, is the most polished and perfect home port for the great NBA Jam during the 16-bit era. This is a sports title that anyone can pick up and play because of its arcade quality. The learning curve is minimal, and the good news is, you don't have to worry about playing defense in this game because this series is predicated on offensive output. The computer even makes the game somewhat close and levels the playing field. Don't be surprised about half-court or full-court shots going in at the buzzer. In all the years playing sports titles, I honestly can't think of anyone that does not enjoy NBA Jam. Needless to say, if you're looking for pure arcade fun, then NBA Hang Time on the Sega Genesis is where it's at. I recommend this game to new and old players alike, and to sports fans and non-sports fans.
Double dunk! Boom shakalaka! He jams it in! Intercepted. From long range. Raises up. Rejected. He shoots.
During the late 1980s, there was Turtle Mania. It was widespread. The turtles were everywhere. Comics, toys, television, food, movies, and of course, video games. When the turtles hit the arcades and Konami's beat 'em up, it was simply amazing. It looked just like the cartoon, and everybody I knew wanted to play it. By 1991, every kid that had dropped quarter after quarter into the arcade was rewarded with a home conversion on the Super Nintendo. TMNT in Time was released, and it was damn near arcade perfect. This is one of the best arcade conversions on the Super Nintendo, and also one of their best titles in their library. Everything about this game is great. It has easy pick up and play mechanics, and looks almost as good as the arcade. It also sounds great too, and was one of the most fun experiences on the console I've ever had. If you like 16-bit perfection, Turtles in Time is for you. Joe and Mac was released in the arcade by Data East under the title Caveman Ninjas. Honestly, I don't remember hearing about this game until it was released in 1991 for the Super Nintendo. This is a fun, cartoonish action platformer adventure. I always enjoyed the ambiance of this game because it has chill music and the stage design is full of nature, so it creates a relaxing vibe. Because the game is fun and easy to control, it's perfect for anybody new to the 16-bit genre. It's even better if you have a friend you can co-op with while you save your cave ladies. I wanted to curate a list of games that showcase the progress in technology during that era, but also to introduce perhaps games that fly under the radar for whatever reason. In addition, I purposely kept mascots out of the list simply because that is too easy, and of course those are games most people know about or are easy to find out about. If there are titles you can think of that would be great starter games for those new to retro gaming, let me know in the comments. And in part 2 of this series, Retro Games for Beginners, I'll try my best to showcase the games you all suggest.